Liberation is found in fire, not in currency. The real treasure isn't in wealth, but in the burning of mind and body. Wealth gives you only borrowed treasure, a treasure chained to circumstance, chained to the market, chained to the opinions of others. It shines for a moment, then corrodes. It fattens the body, weakens the spirit, sedates the mind. It makes you a slave, not a sovereign. But the burning of mind and body, this is the treasure that cannot rot, because it is not a thing. It is not an object that can be taken or lost. It is a state of aliveness. It is the fire itself. The man who has currency but not fire is poor. The man who has fire, even if naked, even if nameless, is wealthy beyond kings. Money. You think money is freedom, but it is the most silent, most elegant prison ever built. Do you see what it has done to you? Money is not paper, money is an idea. And the idea has seeped into your bones. It has told you, sit back, I will carry you, don't move, I will bring food to your door, don't walk, don't cook, don't sweat, I will buy it for you. And so your legs grew soft, your stomach grew weak, your spirit grew idle. Money whispers, you don't need to fight, you don't need to struggle, you don't need to burn. Here, take comfort, take cushions, take air conditioning, take the meal that arrives in 20 minutes with no effort. Take clothes that tell the world you are something you are not. Money doesn't steal by force. Money steals by seduction. It doesn't chain your hands. It lulls you to sleep. Do you see how it killed you? Not in the dramatic sense, but in the slow decaying sense. The way a muscle dies if it is never used. The way a blade rusts when it never meets resistance. Money robbed you of hunger. Money robbed you of fight. Money robbed you of rawness. Money turned your body into a consumer, your mind into a clerk, your spirit into a pensioner. If your ancestors had left you crores, you would have been embalmed alive. The fire inside you would have suffocated under satin sheets. The iron in your spirit would have turned into plastic. Understand this. Decay does not come from poverty, decay comes from comfort. A poor man who burns will remain alive. A rich man who drowns in his cushions is already dead. And now see clearly. Money is not evil, but the idea of money as savior is poison. If it comes, let it come. If it doesn't, let it not. Because money cannot touch your real wealth, the forged mind, the scared body, the spirit that has stood in fire. Do you want to know how money enslaves you? Look at the bed, look at the delivery bag, look at the clothes in your closet. Each of them is a chain, not because they exist, but because you bought them in boredom, in emptiness, in hunger for approval. Money gave you time, but dead time. Time on cushions, time scrolling, time rotting, not time in the furnace, not time in extremity. And so, liberation is to see this, not to hate money, not to worship money, but to strip it naked, to see it as what it is: paper, tokens, numbers in a screen, useful for food, shelter, clothing. Beyond that, meaningless. What matters is the forge, the burn, the annihilation of mind. That cannot be bought, that cannot be delivered, that cannot be inherited. That is why I tell you, do not crave crores. If they come, let them come. If they don't, do not kneel. Because whether they come or not, your only work is fire. Burn. Burn until the mind is ashes. You are not against money, you are against enslavement. You are not denouncing wealth, you are denouncing decay. Understand this with the sharpest clarity. Money is not poison. Attachment to money is poison. Comfort is poison. The belief that money has power to fulfill you is poison. If 50 crores comes, let it come. If it doesn't, let it not. You neither kneel to it nor spit on it. You simply see it for what it is: a tool, a paper, a servant. Useful to buy food, shelter, clothing, movement. Beyond that, useless. The liberation is that you will never stop burning. Whether you sit on a throne or on the floor, you burn. Because you have seen the one who burns is alive, the one who rests in cushions is dead. Money will tempt you with two great illusions: luxury, the slow murder of your spirit through comfort; status, the cheapest narcotic of the human ego, the game of games for fools. A man begins to measure his worth by how others bow to him, not by how fiercely his spirit stands in fire. that is when he becomes a clown in silk clothing. So, liberation is not rejecting wealth. Liberation is standing in the fire whether wealth comes or not. Liberation is to not let money dictate your push, your burn, your intensity. The ordinary man bargains with life. Once I have enough, then I will rest. Once I achieve this, then I will enjoy. That is the language of decay. He dies while alive. What you are touching is a rare insight. No matter what arrives, you will not stop burning. Because the burning is the destination, not the crores, not the applause, not the throne. Do you see? This is not philosophy, this is freedom. Because now no circumstance can enslave you. With or without wealth, with or without approval, you remain in the furnace, and in the furnace, you remain alive. Freedom is not the absence of chains. Freedom is to be unchainable. If wealth comes, you do not bend. If wealth goes, you do not break. If the crowd applauds, you do not swell. If the crowd abandons, you do not shrink. Because your axis is not outside, your axis is fire. And fire is a furnace that does not negotiate. It does not flatter. It does not make deals. It does not care for circumstance. The man who remains in that furnace has stepped outside the world's reach. He cannot be enslaved because what the world offers, gold, approval, thrones, crowns, he has already set on fire. He cannot be bribed by pleasure because he has tasted the raw edge of being alive. He cannot be threatened by loss because he has already lost the world in order to win his own soul. This is why I say the furnace is freedom, for only in fire is man untouchable. Luxury and status. These are two assassins of the human spirit. Luxury whispers to you like a lover. It says, you have earned it, rest now, sink into softness, indulge, spoil yourself, you deserve it. What it does not tell you is that every time you sink into its pillows, you surrender a piece of your vitality. Every velvet cushion is a coffin lined in silk. Every indulgence shaves the edge of your spirit. The warrior becomes the tourist. The fire becomes an ember. Slowly, quietly, without resistance, you rot. And you call it comfort. Status is even more sinister. It does not seduce you through the body, it seduces you through the ego. It says, be seen, be admired, be above them. Let your name echo, let them clap, and you fall for it. You begin to measure yourself by how many glance at you with envy, how many whisper your name. You sell your soul to their gaze. You shape your life to win their nods. And in that slavery, you become the greatest clown of all, a man dressed in riches, imprisoned by the opinions of beggars. Understand this, a man consumed by luxury dies quietly, a man consumed by status dies loudly, but both are dead. The fire burns both illusions. When you stand in the fire, you do not need silk pillows, you do not need bows, you are alive because you burn, and that is enough. This is why the man of fire is free whether he has coins in his pocket or palaces in his name. He can use money, but money cannot use him. He can touch luxury, but luxury cannot soften him. He can be applauded, but applause cannot seduce him, because his worth is not borrowed from cushions or crowds. His worth comes from the flame he stands in. Money itself is not poison. Money is paper, it is neutral. It does not corrupt. What corrupts is what you secretly begin to expect from it. If you receive 100 crores as a byproduct of burning, fine. That is no different than receiving a glass of water when you are thirsty on the road. You drink it, you move on, nothing changes. Because the 100 crores, like the glass of water, is incidental. It is not the point, it is not the destination, it is not the nectar of life. It is simply something that appears on the road while you are already traveling. If you are burning, if you are alive in the furnace, then the money is neither curse nor crown. It is just a utility. You use it as you would drink water, but it does not alter your axis. It does not rewrite your purpose. The moment the 100 crores begin to feel like more than a glass of water, when it begins to feel like arrival, like meaning, like identity, that is when enslavement begins. That is when you lose the furnace and slip into a velvet coffin of comfort. The man who sees the 100 crores as water remains free. The man who sees it as treasure becomes property of his own property. Because the instant you call it treasure, you have declared yourself its God. You now wake each morning with one eye on its preservation. You shape your choices not by fire, not by truth, not by what burns your mind and body alive, but by what protects the vault. And slowly, without noticing, you are no longer the owner, you are the owned. You serve the bank balance, you serve the land deeds, you serve the investments, you serve the fear of loss. This is why I said the man becomes property of his own property. The gold sits in the safe, and you unknowingly sit in the cage. The real freedom is this: if 100 crores come, you burn. If zero comes, you burn. If it aids you, fine. If it abandons you, fine. The burning remains untouched. If money is there, use it as you would use a stick to stoke the fire, but the fire must not depend on the stick. If all the sticks are taken away, you still burn. That is liberation. Do you see? You are not asked to despise money, not to worship it. You are asked to make it irrelevant to your burning. That is the only way it cannot enslave you.